So Chris, we've got a big portfolio. We've got office, we've got industrial. We're reading a lot about people having trouble with their assets. How's our portfolio doing?
Well, I would say that overall our portfolio is quite strong. Even in the office assets, we have, relative to the market, well leased assets. We've gotten through, especially in the office, all that COVID stuff, and people realize now that they had to pay rent. And I mean, that was a tough period of time when all of a sudden tenants were like, you can't throw me out, so I'm not paying.
Right.
But we got through that. And I would say on the office side, we are actually seeing an uptick in lease activity, especially here in downtown Los Angeles. You're not seeing big deals getting done. What you're seeing is a lot of renewals and kicking the can, or kicking the tires. But it's coming. It feels very much on the office side like the mid 90s when we went through the whole savings and loan, and we went through all the RTC stuff. It feels like there's some momentum. I'll say in downtown LA, people need to start coming back downtown because it's cleaner. We haven't solved the homeless issue across the board, but it's cleaner and it's safer. If you go to 7th and Fig, if you go up to Bunker Hill, the sense you have is that it's clean, but it still feels empty. And the other thing I think we've learned is that Friday is not, the United States and especially Southern California has moved to a 4-day work week. Very low attendance on Fridays, but our Tuesdays and Wednesdays are back up or above the daily attendance that we used to have. Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So that makes us feel good. On the industrial side, it's pretty simple. I think we know this from our underwriting. Quality credit tenants pay their rent every month. There's not a problem. When you start to go outside of people who have established businesses, you have to be very careful. And what we have found, you just can't give people breaks. Not that we ever really do, but even our best intentions, you gotta follow the lease, and we've done that across the board, and we get good results. It might lead to a tenant eviction, but we're not in the business of a charity, and we have to be very, very, very on top of all of our tenants.
So if you do have a tenant in multi-tenant light industrial who's in default, how do you handle that? Do you change the way they pay? Do you deal with late fees? What do you do?
Well, I think there's several things you do. I think number one, you have to know what state you're in. California is a totally different set of rules than Nevada or Texas. But we have in our leases that not only if you are late will you get a late fee, but we will waive that late fee one time if you go to ACH. I think this is where the business is changing dramatically. I think it scared a lot of people in COVID when they realized they were accepting $1 million rent checks on a check as opposed to writing in the bank account. And so we have tried to move all of our portfolio. It takes time, it doesn't happen right when you buy it, but someone not paying rent is an opportunity for us to do it. I think when it comes to really, can you lock people out? I mean, the reality is in any of the states I mentioned, you can't just lock them out, but as long as, we meet with lawyers pretty much quarterly to make sure we have the process correct and a good legal letter, and you have people coming to us and we can work out payment plans. I would say across the board, the only projects where we have had to spend more time on it are projects that had a lower quality credit. We knew that going in, and our whole business plan is to change it based on the WALT, but unfortunately you can't just kick somebody out. If they make the payments, so we have to manage. This is what I say to our partners all the time. This is like taking a 1 million square foot office building and turning it on its side. I mean, it's that many tenants. You're talking about 50 tenants in a project.
Right.
And that just takes a lot of, as automized as we are, as many of the software programs that we use, it still takes a quality property manager to go talk to somebody face to face.